Hello and welcome. This is Faceless Opinion, trying to cure my arcane fever. Welcome you back to another video. As many of you may know, I have made a large number of videos about Skyrim on the channel, covering a wide variety of topics from top 10 lists, discussions, theories, and even power scaling. However, there is one topic that I have never delved into, and that being the amazing, yet downright bizarre world of modding.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds!
Dragon!
Yes, you heard that right, folks. I've never gotten involved with Skyrim mods in my give or take 14 years of involvement with this game, though the reason for that is a simple one. I never had a PC, therefore I could not really play any of the mods that came out over the years. I have played Skyrim on my Xbox 360 and my PS4 to completion, i.e. getting all the trophies for it, but never done it on PC since, as mentioned earlier, I did not own one. Until recently. A couple months back I bought myself a nice snazzy gaming PC, which I do like quite a lot, meaning I could finally get involved and see what is going on with all the mods out there. As a matter of fact, there was one mod that I wanted to play as I heard quite a few good things about when it came out several years back. And that was the first thing I did. Went on Steam, downloaded Skyrim Special Edition, and then installed that sucker to see it for myself. Which mod am I talking about? Enderal. What is that? Allow me to explain to you what that is. Enderal, the Shards of Order, is a total conversion mod for Skyrim that came out in 2016, which was created by Sure AI, a German development team that has made quite a few overhaul mods to many Bethesda properties, such as Elder Scroll titles like Morrowind and Oblivion to even Fallout 3, with Enderal serving as a sequel to one of their earlier mods, that being Narum, at Fate's Edge, as they are both a part of the Vin series. Though a lot more would be done with Enderal, as it would end up getting an expansion in 2019 that added in a bunch of content that was originally cut from the game. That expansion would be titled Forgotten Stories. Then in 2021, we got the release of Enderal, Forgotten Stories Special Edition, which requires the Special Edition of Skyrim to play, which is the version that I ended up playing since that was the most recent and theoretically the most polished of the three variations. With all that context explained, it is now the time to talk about the mod in significant detail. In regard to the story, I enjoyed it greatly. The main story revolves around the player character, known as the Prophet, who has a rather tragic past that gets fleshed out throughout the game. The Prophet discovers that they have attained a high degree of magical power and must now learn to control said abilities, which consists of being able to learn any skill at supernatural rate, whether that be magic or combat skills. They can master them. They can also unlock past memories to bolster their skill set even more, or be able to relive the last moments of someone who had passed away, regardless if the person in question has died just recently or if lived thousands of years ago, a part of an ancient civilization. As the story progresses, it is revealed that the Prophet's discovery of their powers and arrival in Enderal coincides with the cleansing, a cycle of apocalyptic destruction and rebirth that has occurred for an indefinite amount of time. The cycle, overseen by supernatural beings known as the High Ones, has recently begun anew following the death of the Lightborn, the gods of this world. The death of the Lightborn has caused mass unrest in every nation, making the world seemingly ripe for the cleansing. But the rulers of Enderal have managed to hide the truth from their subjects and escape the turmoil. For now, that is. To combat the cycle and stop the literal end of the world, the Prophet aligns himself with an organization known as the Holy Order, who is ruled by Grandmaster T-Lora Ranfiel, who plays a vital role in the cycle of the cleansing, just like the Prophet, as he is prepared to do anything to stop the High Ones and the cleansing from taking place. To do so, they must make use of the Prophet's abilities to learn the secrets of the past to find a solution to stop the cleansing. That solution being a magical device known as the Beacon. They need to assemble it quickly as the time they have left is limited. Though the Prophet is not on their own, they do have the assistance of two companions that will help them with their journey. Those being Jaspar Dalveric, a mercenary who is trying to find his place in the world, and Kalia Sarkesh, a fellow member of the Holy Order who's dealing with her own personal demons. And it is with that I feel like you have enough of an idea of what the story is about. I have omitted certain details as I prefer not to spoil anything if you've never played Enderal before and might want to after this video. When comparing the story of this game to the likes of Skyrim, I would say it knocks it out of the park as it was well written, many of the characters were compelling, and I was emotionally invested in it. Something that I don't normally experience while playing games. Sometimes I feel a certain way about an event or a character, but for this, I was hooked. Am I saying it was perfect? No, I have some complaints about certain narrative decisions, though all in all, this was really well done. Let's talk about the pros of this game, or the things that I like, or I thought was done good. The first thing that comes to mind must be the characters. I found many of them quite compelling and memorable. Significantly more compelling than some characters you might encounter in Skyrim. As a matter of fact, the voice acting was top-notch as well, especially for a mod. The big standouts going to be the likes of Telor, Jaspar, and Kalia, all of whom I mentioned while talking about the story. I just wish you could use the likes of Jaspar/Kalia in non-story missions and have them just travel alongside me, which does move me to my next thing, is that Enderal is hard. It will give you more of a challenge than Skyrim does, so much so as you do not get followers unless it is relevant for a specific quest, or how it completely eliminates fast travel. You heard that right, there is no fast traveling. If you want to go from one area to another and don't want to travel on foot, you're going to either need to head to a Myrad tower or have a teleportation scroll, both of which cost money. Enemies are also quite tanky and can dish out serious damage. You could get one shot if you are caught lacking or get swarmed and quadruple teamed. You need to be careful using magic as well, since if you overuse it, you could develop arcane fever. What's that? As the name implies, it is a fever you get from using your magic too much, which can give you a debuff if not treated, or could kill you if it gets up too high, which can only be treated by a certain potion called Ambrosia. On the subject of magic, I liked what they did with it, as it was a lot more diverse and intricate compared to the likes of Skyrim. For those who have followed me for a long time, I make it no secret that I have always hated Skyrim's magic. Enderal does it better. Granted, it is quite a challenge to use it in the early game due to arcane fever and not having a proper way to treat it, making it an exclusive magic build not that easy. For me anyways. However, with the amount of magic I played around with later on, I could say that I liked what they did with it, and they have so many spells. If I ever play it again, I would want to tinker with more magic. The world it takes place is outstanding. As you can tell, they put in work to make a wide variety of enemies, dungeons, and fauna. And a good chunk of them are reused Skyrim assets, but not everything, as they were able to add their own homebrew creations into the mix, like adding in a wide variety of Atronox, or as they called them in the game, elementals. In base Skyrim, you had 3, Fire, Frost, and Storm, while in Enderal, you have all those 3 plus a couple more, like Mud, Wood, and a little bit of more than that. And that is just one example. I just wish I could learn a little bit more about some of the creatures that we encounter, because that's how interesting I find them. A personal favorite of mine I wish to know more about would be the Vatir. Look at this thing. I have so many questions. That is everything that I like that I can think of right now. Now let's talk about the inverse, the things that I didn't like. And there are a few things, such as the world that the game takes place in. Now, you may be confused as it wasn't that long ago in which I was talking about how much I like the world it takes place in. That is true, I do like the world it takes place in, but I have to be honest, the world is kinda bland. As there aren't that many cities and towns, only 3 places of worth, those being Ark, Riverville, and Duneville. Now, Ark is a damn good city, better than anything they got in Skyrim, but besides that, there's nothing else noteworthy, as the other places, Riverville and Duneville, which are in fact decent-sized settlements, are forgettable. Besides that, there are no other interesting locations that you want to go to. Yes, you do have unique-looking dungeons and cool vistas, but with a map of this size, there should be a lot more prominent settlements to go to, and without that, it makes it feel a bit lifeless. Also, it doesn't help that there isn't much in regard to significant side content. Sure, you have the Golden Sickle and Relata, but they don't come anywhere near as good as Skyrim faction quest lines. Next up would be the lack of unique/legendary weapons. When it comes to Skyrim, you have such a large number of weapons to collect, ranging from Daedric artifacts to outstanding weapons found across different quest lines. Enderal doesn't have anything like that. They have cool looking armor sets, but nothing noteworthy for weapons. Nothing that I remember anyways. There were some story beats that I thought weren't handled that great. Since I am talking about major story moments, consider this your spoiler warning. I'll put a picture up showing that I'm talking about spoilers so that you can skip ahead if you don't want to hear them. Okay, talking about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. There are too many betrayals that happen in the main story. There are total 3 of them, and all of them weren't handled that great. The first one was okay, I guess. The second one makes sense, but we don't really get to deal with the greater effects of it, making it rather unnecessary. While for the last one, which is the biggest one as it comes close to the end, and this one was done poorly, and raises a plot hole or two as a result. Another story thing that could have been done better was I wish that more was done with Terranor Korek, as he led an army to invade Enderal to stop the Order from lighting the beacon, as he wanted the cleansing to happen. I think it was wasted potential not having him do anything more meaningful, or that we don't have any fights with either him or his underlings. Korek and his army are a big threat, and we don't do much of anything with them. Sure, they invade Ark close towards the end of the game, but like I said, we don't do much with them. Another victim of WPS, wasted potential syndrome. Alright, enough of the spoilers. Let me talk about one last thing, and this is, for me, the thing I do not like. Everything that I mentioned to this point are things that were lackluster, or could have been greatly improved upon. What I'm about to talk about now is something that I hate. That would be the level up system. It is awful. Allow me to go into detail. Character progression in Enderal is accomplished by the accumulation of experience points. Experience points are awarded for completing various tasks in exploration and combat, such as completing quests, killing enemies, reading and learning the land and lore of Enderal, or discovering new locations. Characters level as they accumulate enough experience points to reach the next level. The amount of experience points needed to reach each new level increases as levels increase. So, Enderal's level up similar to that of Fallout 4. Which isn't a bad thing. Where's the issue? The issue arises with the introduction to something known as learning books. With each level given up, you will be awarded 3 things: skill points, crafting points, and memory points. In addition to the reward points, learning books are required to increase the various combat and crafting skills. In Enderal, skill levels are not increased through the use of the skill, only by reading learning books and the use of available skill points. Learning books can be found through exploration of Enderal or purchased from vendors. Learning books, whether found or purchased, are stored in your consumables inventory until consumed. Reading the learning books uses 1 skill point or 1 crafting point, depending on the type of skill. The skill is then increased by 1. All combat and crafting skills start out at 15, and current skill levels can be found on the hero page. Believe me when I say that I do not like this system, as it is rather tedious, as the only way to level up skills is through the use of those skill books, and these suckers are expensive. And if you want to be proficient at a certain skill, you're going to have to shell out the money for it. And it is because of this system that I never wasted my time with things like smithing and enchanting, and was always getting my ass beat whenever I was at higher levels. But it gets worse, as I haven't discussed the memory points. Think of these as the same way you leveled up in a traditional Skyrim. The big difference is that in Skyrim, all the skill trees are separated, while in Enderal, many of them are combined together. For example, if you want to unlock memories for lockpicking, you're going to also need to invest points into archery as well, since they share the same progression path, which may be a bad thing if you're not doing an archer build. Don't even get me started on the talents either. Think of them as the special moves the Prophet can do. The best way I can describe talents would be, you know how the Dragonborn can shout? Think of it in that vein, but for the Prophet. And I won't lie to you, I never once used a talent because they aren't that useful to me and are rather forgettable. Honestly, it's like they tried to combine the level up system of Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and it did not mesh well whatsoever, leading toward me having very negative opinion towards it. Now, with all of that said, it is time to answer a very important question. Is it worth playing? Answer, yes. An astounding yes. I've said this many times, but I will continue to keep saying it. This is very well made and can hold a candle to a decent amount of AAA games out currently. And the thing is, Enderal is free to play, though it does make me feel a little guilty about it since I would pay money to play this and support the developers of it. I am curious to see what your AI is going to do in the future. Are they planning on making something using the assets for Fallout 4? Or maybe make a sequel of sorts to Enderal when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out? Though I'd be an old man by that time. Who knows? All I do know is that in December of 2020, one of the project leads, Nicholas Litzau, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. If not, I'm sorry about that. Well, this guy has published a novel titled Dreams of the Dying that expands the Enderal universe and explores the past of prominent and fan-favorite character Jaspar. Maybe that is something I should check out. Anyhow, tell me, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Enderal? Have you ever played it before? Are you interested in playing it now after watching this video? Would you be interested in me playing the likes of Enderal or Skyrim? I mean, I do have a PC now. You know what? Let's make this interesting. Something that I've never done before. I propose a challenge to you, my fellow viewer. A goal. If this video were to get 5,000 views and over 250 likes, I will make a playthrough series for Enderal. How does that sound? Tell me in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, I will catch you all on the flip side.